Today is Sunday. It is Yud Aleph Eir, Tavshin Ayin Gimel. We are on Teres Menachem, Sefer HaMarim Tavshin Yud Aleph, Tavshin Yud Beis. We're in the Maimer of Shabbos Pasha Shlach Mevorchem Achedesh Tammuz Tavshin Yud Aleph, Dibur HaMaschel Shlach Lecha. We are up to Ois Vov, chapter 6, on page Kuf Ches. We're in the home stretch of the Maimer. So the Rebbe was explaining here the innovation that came about when the Yidden were entering into Eretz Yisrael, which is the Avodas Hashem, serving Hashem with Gashmias, with physicality, with physical matter, being involved in the physical world, which began in earnest when the Yidden entered into Eretz Yisrael. Up until that point, the Yidden served Hashem spiritually. In the desert, they had no physical concerns. They weren't really involved in the full spectrum of the fulfillment of the mitzvahs, because the mitzvahs that were connected to Eretz Yisrael, obviously, they were not yet able to perform. And the fulfillment of mitzvahs in earnest began when they entered into Eretz Yisrael, which necessitates involvement with Gashmias. And Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to infuse the Yidden with the koyach, the ability to be able to engage with Gashmias successfully and not be caught up by the physicality, by the materialism. And that was the idea of sending the Meraglim. Why Moshe Rabbeinu thought it is proper to send the Meraglim. Why did this infusion of strength come specifically from Moshe? Because Moshe was the level of Re'iyah in godliness. Moshe Rabbeinu operated on the level of seeing godliness. Moshe Rabbeinu was his level of Chochmah Datzilus, which is the idea of Re'iyah, seeing godliness. And it's this, when you see Get Lecha, when you see godliness, it's not possible for one to engage in matters that are the opposite of godliness, right? And that's where Moshe Rabbeinu said, let me cross over into the land and let me see. There was an emphasis on seeing, because this is the idea. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to infuse this level into the Yidden, that they should be at the level of seeing godliness, and through this they should be able to engage successfully with the Gashmias, and at the level of being able also to refine the midos of the animal soul. Eretz Shiva Amamin, he sent the spies to spy out the entire land, the length and breadth. The land of Canaan was the land of the 7 nations, which in the microcosm represents the 7 midos, the 7 attributes of the animal soul. And it's that Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to infuse them with the power to be able to refine and to lift even what? The level of the midos, the attributes of the animal soul, as opposed to what Yeshua accomplished, which was the idea of engaging and lifting the machshava, dibur, maisa, the levushim, the garments of the soul, which is a secondary, lower level. Yeshua gave them the strength to do the avodas habeinanim, which focuses on machshava, dibur, maisa, thought, speech, and action. Whereas Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to give them the avodah, the strength, the ability to engage even in what? I guess avodas hatzadikim, to be able to lift even the faculties of the animal soul, the midos. Chapter 6, on the top of page Kuf Ches. Ois Vov. V'zehu shlach lecha anoshim v'yasuru v'seretz Canaan. This is the meaning of the posik that says, the verse that says, send unto you people v'yasuru, and they should spy out the land of Canaan, Goyim, etc. Shesheluach ha-meraglim u'inyan anasinas kayach. The sending of the meraglim is the idea of the giving of strength, the infusion of strength, so that there should be the ability, so that one should be able to engage in serving Hashem with physical matters. The giving of this strength is through Moshe. That's why it says Shlach Lecha. If you remember, the Rebbe's question was, why does it say Shlach Lecha? Why does it say Shlach Lecha? Send unto you. Why was it necessary for Moshe Rabbeinu to send the Meraglim, the spies, if Hashem said that everything is going to be fine? because the infusion of strength to be able to engage with physical matters successfully and serve Hashem through those physical matters and lift them, that Nesinas Keach, that infusion of strength comes dafke specifically through Moshe. Why? Why dafke through Moshe? What's the question? For although the spies themselves, even on their own, in their own right, they were kosher, they were wholesome, they were proper, they were tzaddikim, as Rashi says in Chumash, that when he sent them, they were tzaddikim. The avodah, the way they served Hashem, was only spiritually. So therefore, they lacked the ability to be able to connect to Gashmis, the physical matter, and the Nesinas Keach, the infusion of strength, to be able to successfully engage with physicality, has to come through Moshe. And therefore, the infusion of strength to serve Hashem Bagashmis physically, that was drawn down and given through Moshe specifically. So it wasn't the question of whether you're righteous or not. The question is whether or not one has the ability to connect to Gashmis successfully and to lift it and connect it to Elikus. Why dafke Moshe? Because as mentioned before, Moshe possessed this level of re'iyah, seeing godliness and essential nullification, self-nullification, right? Because he saw godliness, because he was at the level of seeing godliness, that affected Moshe Rabbeinu with an essential bittul, with essential nullification. And here, in the footnote, it says there's something missing. This is not an edited maimer, therefore it's a hanocha. This is said on Shabbos. So whoever transcribed it missed out a little bit of the connection of what the Rebbe is saying here, but we're going to try to figure out what the Rebbe says. As it is also explained in other places, Chassidus concerning this concept of the 600,000 feet of the nation, among whom I am. Moshe Rabbeinu says concerning the Yidden, the 600,000 feet of the nation, among whom I am. So the state in Chassidus that Moshe Rabbeinu is the level of Chochmah, as we explained over here. Anoichi is the level of Keser, which is beyond Chochmah. Bikirbai, to draw down Keser into Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Anoichi, Bikirbai. Moshe Rabbeinu needed to come on to the feet, the lowest level of the nation, the people. He needed their Avedas Hashem in order to bring down the higher level of Keser, that he should have benefit of that as well. Moshe Rabbeinu recognized, why? Because they are the ones that carry out the Aveda B'Gashmias. Moshe Rabbeinu, Dafke Chochmah Datzilis, has the ability to recognize the special quality that is possessed in the lower level, and that causes him to be bottled, nullified, to the extent that he recognizes the advantage, the quality that the very lowest level possesses, and he becomes bottled. And that, in turn, draws down what? The level of Keser into Moshe Rabbeinu. So what do we see over here? That even though that the nation, the lowest level is Ragli, it's merely the feet, it's specifically through them that this level of Anoichi is drawn down Bekirbay in him. The level which is beyond Chachma, beyond Moshe Rabbeinu, is drawn down into him. This indicates the level of Moshe Rabbeinu's bittul. That what? His nullification. That he felt nullified even before whom? The lowest level of the nation. Because of this, Hirgish, he felt, hot der Hert. He was able to, he felt, he recognized, because of this, he felt the special quality that exists through serving Hashem with physicality when one enters into Eretz Yisrael. And Moshe Rabbeinu affected this infusion of strength to be able to serve Hashem with the Gashmias. So it's a dual process, it's an interactive process. The Aveda B'Peil, the actual Aveda B'Gashmias, with physical matter, with the lowest level, is carried out through Ragli, through the lowest levels, right? But they don't recognize the special quality of this, so you need a Moshe Rabbeinu to infuse them with the strength that they should be able to successfully carry through this Aveda. And through this, Moshe Rabbeinu also has the benefit of drawing down a greater level, which is even beyond the level of Keser. So this was Moshe Rabbeinu. So what happened? But the Meraglim did not possess this level of bittul. this level of nullification like Moshe Rabbeinu had. Therefore, they did not feel, they did not recognize, they didn't get this special quality that is possessed where in the Avodah in serving Hashem with physical matter. But they said, it's a land that eats, that consumes its inhabitants. What does that mean? They claim that through serving Hashem with the physical matter, not only will one not be able to lift the physicality, on the contrary, etc., meaning to say that the one that engages with the Gashmias, with the physicality, will get consumed by the Gashmias, by the physicality. And this is what they said. The Gemara says in Saita that the Meraglim, it says in the pasuk, they said, Ki chozak hu mimenu, that they are stronger mimenu. Mimenu also means from him. Kavyochel meaning from whom? That the inhabitants of Eretz Canaan are stronger Kavyochel than whom? Than Hashem. Meaning to say, they said, Afilu balabayis Kavyochel, Eini yochel lehitzis kelav. Even the balabayis, even the master of the house, Kavyochel, so to speak, cannot extract his vessels from the house. It's like someone who takes vessels, puts them into a certain place, and then that place is taken over by other elements, and they're so destructive and so powerful that although he is like squatters, although he is there, he's the owner, he's the balabais, he can't extract his own vessels from there. He's trapped. His belongings are trapped. So that's what they said. Hashem Taka created the world. Hashem Taka indeed Hashem put these netzutzes kedusha, these holy sparks of energy, divine energy, into Eretz Canaan. But the klippa there is so powerful that Kaviyachol, it can't be extracted. They said the emes hadavar sheyesh b'dvar magashmim netzutzim na'al mishviras hakelim. They said it is true indeed that in physical matter there are great sparks of energy that come from the level of shviras hakelim, the breaking of the vessels, which took place where in Olam HaTayim, in the world of chaos, which comes from a very high level. Nevertheless, their argument was because of the great descent that took place, even though they come from a very high source, but they've descended so low, and because of that, the balabais cannot extract, the owner cannot extract, the master cannot extract his belongings. Hainu. For although he is indeed what? The owner, the master of the house, but nevertheless, he cannot extract his own elements from there. The divine energy is lost, cannot be extracted. Why was that? Because the Meraglim did not have this bittul, this nullification, the level of nullification that Moshe Rabbeinu had. The 10 of them.
Who chose the Meraglim? How were the Meraglim chosen?
Moshe Rabbeinu. Hang on a second, let's carry through. Yeshua v'Kalev, nevertheless Yeshua, however Yeshua and Kalev, two of the spies, the Moshe, they did have this nullification to Moshe Rabbeinu. They were nullified before Moshe Rabbeinu. Amru, they said, in other words, what was their identity? How did they operate? They were so totally committed to Moshe Rabbeinu that Moshe Rabbeinu's level operated and permeated through them. They said, their shield, their protection has removed itself from upon them. And God is with us, do not be afraid of them. What does that mean? What do they say? That the master of the house, meaning Hashem, could extract his elements, the divine energy that is there. What does that mean, the balabais? Balabais is a reference to godliness that is associated with worlds. He could extract his elements, his vessels from there. Hainu, which means the Gashmis could be elevated. That is also why they said the land is very, very good. Twice ma'id, very, very. What's very, very? The first ma'id refers to the limitlessness of the human being, the higher levels of the human being. Ma'id refers to the limitlessness of above. Doesn't spell it out over here, but in the Kutatera, from where he brings this, it says over there that the Meraglim, they also believe that there's tremendous benefit from engaging in Aveda with Eretz Yisrael. But they, as we say over here, the Rebbe brought over here also from the Kutatera, that they operated on the Ruchnius level, on the spiritual level. Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, is a spiritual level. All these things that we discuss over here, Eretz Yisrael, Beruchnius, is Malchus, the level of Malchus. So they said, let's only operate on the spiritual level. All these things, let them play itself out on the spiritual level. Amid the Iskasya, as we mentioned before. The hidden world. So these two ma'aids, one is the hidden world and one is the concealed world. The ma'aid, one ma'aid means the hidden world, the other ma'aid means our world, the revealed world. So they said, only over there. Yeshua and Kalev said, no, Teiva ha'aretz ma'aid ma'aid. We can operate on both levels. We can draw down these and have the benefit of these tremendous giluyim and yichudim in the hidden world, but don't limit yourself to that. We can even have the other ma'aid, the second ma'aid, to operate even where? In the revealed world. The Kol Zeba, why indeed did they have another opinion as opposed to the other Meraglim? Mitzad habitul shalhem el Moshe, because they were nullified before Moshe Rabbeinu. They were completely bottled to Moshe Rabbeinu, and therefore Moshe Rabbeinu was able to operate through them and carry through what he wanted. V'zeu gam hashakosov vayahas kolev esam. It says in the pasuk that when Kolev wanted to address the people, vayahas, he made them silent. What's vayahas? Silence. Vayahas hu inyan bittul. Silence is the idea of bittul, nullification. What does it mean? Kolev wanted to infuse this level of bittul into the nation, into the people. Because it's only through this nullification to the leader, to Moshe Rabbeinu, who operates on the level of Re'iyah, sees godliness. This gives us the infusion of strength to be able to enter into the land and to engage in the Avodas Hashem that the land represents. Concerning the Meraglim, when Yeshua sends his Meraglim, it says Yeshua sent Meraglim Cheresh. Spies, Meraglim Cheresh, quietly, silently, stealthily. What's Cheresh? Cheresh is Lashon Shtika. Cheresh is an expression of silence. The Gemara says in a number of places that there are certain people that are exempt from mitzvahs. One of them is a cheresh. What's a cheresh? Cheresh is somebody who is deaf and dumb. He doesn't speak and he doesn't hear. What does that mean? What does it mean? Cheresh is somebody who is completely nullified. He doesn't speak and he doesn't hear. In other words, he doesn't have any, or rather, he doesn't have any identity on his own, but rather he has submitted his identity to something which is higher than him, which is what the idea over here of being bottled to Moshe Rabbeinu. V'hainu. Also Yeshua, for him to be successful to send his Meraglim, he also had to be bottled to whom? Nullified before whom? Before Moshe Rabbeinu. At least where? In matters of thought, speech, and action. If you remember, as mentioned before, that was the secondary level. Yirichai, Levushim, right? The Kolza Hu Lefishin is this is all because the infusion of strength in order to enter into Eretz Yisrael is dependent upon being essentially nullified to before Moshe. That's why it says, you send, it's your decision. In other words, what does it mean you send? You, Moshe Rabbeinu, have the ability, Hashem says, to infuse this level of this infusion of strength that people, Yidden, should be able to engage successfully with Gashmias at the highest level. Why? Because you are the level of Chachma, Re'iyas Elikus, seeing godliness, and therefore you possess this essential bittul, this essential level of nullification. And if you will infuse this level of bittul, this level of nullification into the nation, they will be able successfully to enter into Israel and to lift the Gashmis. Now, obviously, it was in stages. At the time when Moshe Rabbeinu tried to accomplish it, the nation wasn't yet ready. It wasn't a failure because it was a stage, much like in everything else in our history. When we talk about the Avos, the forefathers, for example, who fulfilled all the mitzvahs before they were given, nevertheless, the next stage was Matan Torah. As we know, before the giving of the Torah, the fulfillment of mitzvahs was not permanent. It wasn't lasting. The effects were not lasting. That only the ability to make to affect lasting change in Gashmias and to turn it into holiness. That ability was given to us when the Torah was given. So, what was the point of the Avos of the forefathers fulfilling the mitzvahs? It was a necessary stage to prepare the world for when the time will be right for that. Similarly, Moshe Rabbeinu, when he sent the Meraglim, right, and you had this difference of opinion between the 10 and the 2, the 10 saying we can't do it, and the 2 saying we could do it. That was a stage in preparing us to be able to ultimately come into Eretz Yisrael when Mashiach comes, and to lift not only the land of not only Yericha, the Machshava Dibur Maisa, as happened by Yeshua, which was another stage, but also the level of the seven nations, meaning the Midos. And in fact, when Mashiach comes, it says it will also be what? The land will be expanded, Keni, Knisi, V'Kadmoni, the three additional nations, which refers to what? Chochma, Bina, and Das. That even the Meichen, the level of the intellect, we will also be able to lift and refine and transform. So it's not that it was a failure, it was a stage that was necessary at that time. And we know that, and we can see that it had some effect, because Yeshua and Kalev indeed did get it. They were at that level of Bittul. So these are all stages in the ultimate destiny, which is what? Mashiach. But it's all dependent on what? On Bittul, to the Nasi Ador. Bittul, nullification, before whom? The leader, the Moshe Rabbeinu. So too it'll be when the future redemption will come. Through nullification before Moshe. These Pashtusa, the Moshe B'chol Dora V'Dora. And the, how do you say Pashtusa? This, the
infiltration.
The spreading out of Moshe in each and every generation, meaning to say the element of Moshe Rabbeinu that exists in each and every generation, which is what? A reference to the leader of that generation. In our generation, this is my father-in-law, the Rebbe. Says the Rebbe in this Maimer, who is the shepherd in our generation. So through the bittul to the leader of that generation, we ultimately merit the entering into the land of Eretz Yisrael in its simple sense, not only in this esoteric sense of serving Hashem with Gashmis and Machshava Dibur Maisa and with Midas and so on and so forth, but actually entering into the land of Eretz Yisrael, meaning to have, we will have the actual Geula, the redemption, the Yurgash, and we will feel that the land is indeed very, very good. This is the Maimer Shabbos Pasha Shlach, and the Mitzvah Shem tomorrow we're going to start a Maimer of Yud Beis Tammuz. And just to mention that we are now we're starting the fourth to the last Maimer of Tovshin Yud Aleph. So we're getting close to finishing the year of Tovshin Yud Aleph. And I think it would be appropriate for us to mark the event somehow through a Fabrengen, and maybe somebody or whoever is up to it, to prepare a psavort from what we've learned, to pick something that we've learned that has had a special meaning to you, and so on and so forth. And if you want any assistance, I'm happy to. You can exchange emails with me, bivakasha, and we can work towards that, which I believe we should be within the next 4 weeks or so, depending on how well we do. 4 or 5 weeks, and Mitzvah Shem will be finishing Tov Yud Aleph.